Hey Jeff, this is Shane Butehorn. Hey, I made this PowerPoint on the seller buy down presentation several months ago. So while the interest rates and some of the stuff in this PowerPoint may not be current as far as today's market, the principles remain the same. So if you have any questions, feel free to give me a call on anything. But I wanted to give you just a quick idea of how this works and what it is that we do, and also how to use this to help your clients when it comes to buying and selling a house. So how we use it in marketing, how we use it to attract buyers, how we use it to get sellers additional money. This is an example of our seller buy down sheet, and the way this works is we can compare any kind of a purchase. In this example, I'm using an FHA purchase because it has the lowest down payment, 3.5%. Then it's going to compare if a house sits on the market and we decide we want to reduce the price. Then I'm going to show what happens if we reduce the rate, and then we compare the price versus the rate. So I'm going to scroll in here so that we can take a look. Now this is also available. I've got this software put together so the seller buy down strategy is available in both PDF and HTML, which means that you can send it, you can forward it on to your clients so that they can see it and hopefully it makes sense to them. And also they can contact us on anything that we send to you and we'll be able to make it make sense as well. The header we basically customize on this for any property that we're going to use this strategy on. So it's going to have the picture of the house as well as the address and everything. It's basically done as a flyer to help market it. But let's go through some of this information so that this will make sense. I'm going to be going a little faster than I typically do because I'm not doing it as a full-blown presentation. But here's what I've got. In this example, we've got a sales price of $195,000, 3.5% down for FHA, interest rate of 4.75. We've got what would be needed is the cash to close, total monthly payments on the house, income needed to qualify for this particular house. Now, if we were to reduce the price by $9,000, okay, so we decide we want to go from $195 to $186. Here's how drastic this is. Say, same 3.5%, same interest rate. So you can see the loan amount drops quite a bit from $190,057 to $181,285. Cash to close drops just a little bit. The payment, though, this is the drastic part. We reduced the price, so the sellers are losing essentially an additional $9,000 by dropping that price. But the payment's only a $52 difference. So we went from $1,366 to $1,314. So it's only saving the buyers $52 a month. Now over time that's a big deal, but we can do better and help everybody out. Okay, so this is what I like to point out is that for that $9,000, that's only buying us a $52 savings. Now if your seller is already willing to reduce their price, so they're agreeing to this price reduction, then this is an easy sell to go a different direction, which is the rate reduction. So in the rate reduction, I say, okay, let's remarket the house. We want to leave it at the $195. And then we're going to buy the interest rate down for our potential buyer. So instead of the buyer getting an interest rate of 4.75, they get an interest rate of 4.25. And again, remember, this is examples because rates are a little bit lower right now. So we could potentially go lower and the cost being even less. But look at what happens to the payment. The cost to get this interest rate, even when I did this, is less than the $9,000. So it's going to cost your seller less. The savings for the buyer is more. But most buyers don't understand this unless they see the math. They think that the biggest impact to them will be dropping that price, when truly the biggest impact to them will be to drop the rate. Financing has a much bigger impact than the actual price of the home. And here's how we demonstrate this. This price versus rate column is going to show them the comparison of these two columns. Okay, first of all, when we show the sales price, we'd reduced the price to 186. Well, by dropping the rate instead of dropping the price, that's the equivalent of dropping the price to 183,783. So you'll notice that in our price versus rate, we're leaving the rate where it was, but the equivalent of it to get this same 1309 payment, price has to go to 183,783. So that's a bigger impact. That actually, when we can show it to a buyer, you get, by getting this interest rate, or again on today's market a lower interest rate, it means more to you than asking for a price reduction, because you're going to get more out of it. This was a $9,000 cost to the buyer, or pardon me, to the seller. It's the equivalent now of an $11,217 adjustment, and it cost less to get there. We allow in this type of program also co-branding, just like we do with the websites. So you can see where I have arts information. That's typically where we would, this is typically where we would put all of your information. So this is an example of the full flyer that explains it all, so that people can kind of get a grasp and understand it. The question that's always asked of me is, well, how much will it cost the seller to get that price on the buy down? And that's the question we can't answer. We don't know until we lock the interest rate. That's a constantly moving target. Here's what we know is that sellers right now are being asked to pay closing costs. That's 3%. FHA will allow sellers to contribute up to 6%. So we tell a seller, it could go up to 6%. But if you're already willing to drop the price by more than 3%, then let's use that same 3% of the money and reserve it for trying to get a better interest rate. Let's market that on the MLS. Let's market it on the websites. And then let's talk with any realtors and their clients that are interested in the properties and explain to them, hey, let me show you, here's the financing options that our lender has made available. Here's how they're doing it. And by going through our lender, the sellers are going to be contributing this much to get that interest rate down. And our lenders know how to do this. They're specialists at it. I hope that makes sense. But like I said, give me a call if you have any questions, 801-649-4099. I'm going to upload this onto YouTube so you can save it. You can watch it if you need to refresh your memory on it. You can forward it to anybody else that may need a brief explanation on it. It's a very simple concept that nobody uses, but it is available, and I know exactly how to put it to work and do these quite a bit. Not always does it get used, but using it as a marketing strategy also helps draw attention. Again, give me a call if you have any questions, 801-649-4099, or you can call Art, 801-688-2496. I'll upload this to YouTube, and then I'm going to send you the link, so if you have any questions, you can give me a call. Thanks a lot. Talk to you later. Bye-bye.